What's up, guys? This is Ninja. As you can see, this is going to be a video response, basically, because Destiny, uh, who knows, a good, I would say he speaks to about 70% of what I speak to, which is why I follow him, because he says what I'm going to say generally. Um, and this is one of the very few times where he speaks, but he doesn't see the whole picture, whereas I do. So I'm going to make a video response. He explains it very well, but he explains the wrong thing, basically. And all I'm going to do is just interrupt it every now and then and just correct what he's talking about and get you guys focused on the right thing so you know what the problem is. Because the problem, you can actually find the people and the problem in schools. There's a guy in this video that talks and he's like, oh, it's free speech and the problem is the free speech. No, you have to strike at their core, at their root, basically. And it's not the free speech that's the problem. It's the problem. The problem is that you have to point out to them that what they're doing is wrong and they need to be allowed to use free speech, basically, and to they will stop on their own, basically. They will. So here we go.
There's a stupid phenomenon. I hate this. I hate everything online. I hate everything actually right now. I just hate everything. There's the closest I've ever been actually to moving
A
a country
misanthrope, is
before.
that it?
Yeah,
It's just
everybody, anybody with a brain would agree with that statement that Destiny just said, and how he's like, this is the closest he's ever been to wanting to move. And basically, people want to die. They want to just throw it all away. Just fuck it all. Just basically, that's literally what people with the brain are thinking right now. Because people without a brain are a problem. And again, that's yeah.
this. I don't even want to call it post fact because that term has been used so much, but sometime okay, we're older here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am.
Okay, you go into a place, all right, with a bunch of successful people. You see a young man who's very flashy, and you can tell he needs everybody in that area to know how successful he is, how good he is, how how much he's achieved, right? And I think I don't know, maybe you guys do that at the club. I'm not sure, but from my impression, when I see people like that, it's a huge lack of self-esteem.
Self-esteem. Okay.
Yeah, or self-confidence, or self-assuredness. Like everybody has to know how good you're doing. It's really important that everybody knows that you're gonna do everything.
So in psychology, again, I don't know the professional details. I'm a psychologist because I know what Pavlov is talking about, but I don't know the name Pavlov. I don't know the name of it, but I know what the fuck it is. Okay? Now, basically, in psychology, there's actually a term for a person like this. And basically, you see it with like daddy issues. Basically, the reason why girls will go to the most ruthless guy in the world's house because he says good job, or he pays attention to her and notices her. Basically, you know what I'm saying, it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. It's just that that's the male version of it, where it's just like, notice me, I'm cool, I'm dope, I'm hip, daddy issues, basically, right? That's what it is. So, again, deeper. That's why I like psychology, because it's just deeper,
You can in order to make
and
people
that's why I'm so on the level. Because basically, it's just I understand it, but I don't know who said it, because who fuck cares?
understand that. And I feel like that's a thing that to me is immediately obvious. And if somebody were to
Daddy
question me
issues,
on it,
yeah.
I, my desire to engage in that conversation is almost non-existent. Like somebody asking me if I want to
Because you don't know what it is.
like a pile of shit and then attacking me when I'm like, I don't really know. I'm like, what about
It's, yeah, like, okay, so why did it go? Why is that guy like that? Daddy issues. I wouldn't mind talking about it. It's just you don't know what the fuck it is. That's
some
why
salsa?
he doesn't understand. That's why he's bitching and complaining, because he doesn't actually know.
When there are people that there's this thing, it's called, people call it now jacking off, JAQ, just asking questions.
Right.
Okay. If you're Candace Owens, if you're any of these, if you're Tucker Carlson, if you're any of these people, we get paid to sit way too much money to do news every day. Okay. And these people shoot sometimes like 2 episodes a week. Okay. Like an hour and a half.
Candace Owens is a perfect example of someone who was born with a silver spoon in their mouth and has no idea what the dance is. Basically, she has no idea how the world really works. And there's a reason why they say that there's a thin line between bravery and stupidity. Because most of the time, the person doing the very brave thing is just really fucking stupid and doesn't realize how dangerous it actually is. Basically, that's why there's a thin line between bravery and stupidity. Basically, okay. And again, the chick you're talking about, whatever the fuck her name was, again, just these names, they fall in, and I don't care who they are. Candace Owens, right? I don't care because I see her, I see what she does, and I'm like, that's stupid. Shut the fuck up. And I don't care. You know, it's literally like the man mode. Like, it's, you know, just all just A to B. Like, that's it. Just A to B, B to C, C to D. That's it.
whatever. You have nothing to do with your time but read and study and understand what you're talking about. When these people come out and they ask these questions, we're like,
Hold on, go back.
it way too much money to do news every day, okay? And these people shoot sometimes like 2 episodes a week, okay?
Yeah.
Like an hour and a half, whatever. You have
Like
nothing to do-
Hassan and Candace Owens, they sit around and do nothing. Like Destiny, like the reason I follow Destiny is because he will sit there and read for days in advance of a debate.
do with your time.
He's over prepared. Like, what's the word I'm looking for? He's basically over prepared comparatively. It basically is the word I'm trying to look for.
But read and study and understand what you're talking about.
Which
when these people
yeah.
come out and they ask these questions, we're like, isn't it kind of weird that there were wooden doors on the gas chambers? Or did you guys ever hear about the USS Liberty? It's like, yes, not only people heard about these things, there have been tons of books written about these things.
Again, man, what I said, the line between bravery and stupidity. The reason why it's the same with Trump. Nobody knows how amazing this is. It's because he's stupid, and he doesn't realize that what he's talking about is actually common sense. And I would argue it's to the point now that he's being evil with it, and he's saying what he's saying, despite what you think. Basically, like, oh, people don't know, and he's just saying that just to piss you off, kind of deal. Like at times now. But it's, again, thin line between bravery and stupidity. He's just stupid. Did you notice the wooden doors? Of course they don't know, because they don't, like, the more you know, like, the most intelligent people will know this saying or this idea, basically. The more you know, the more you realize, the less you actually know. Basically. Something like that. The more you know, the less you know. Right? The more you know, the less you really know, basically. But it's still more than fucking idiot who's like, the wooden door, and you're like, yeah, what about it, right? But you have 1,000 million questions, whereas he has like 10, because he's like, how do you like engage the thought? Whereas you're like, remember that captain, not that one captain, but the other captain who was friends with the lieutenant who knew the dog. You know, you're really in there. Examples, basically. And that's what a lot of people are afraid of. That's what it is to be smart. Okay? Oh, you're just a nurse delusion. No, I'm smart. I'm intelligent. I'm a doctor. You know, that's what a doctor is. That's what someone who's curing your diseases is. You know what I'm saying?
Why are you just asking this question for the first time in your entire life? Number one. And number two, why is it that 5 years from now, you're going to be asking the same question? Having done
It's because they're idiots.
absolutely no reading on it. How are you still asking? Like, literally Google it. You can find any piece of information and know more than what you know now. What did you do for show prep? But instead, it's a bunch of these, and they always do it in this disgusting.
By the way, you know these people in school. 5th grade, 4th grade, 3rd grade. You will see this. Same thing. In school. This is why I want to make the video. Because that's the answer. That's the problem. Basically. It's those kids in school right now are faking their way through. Fake it till you make it. And they're making it too fucking far. Like Trump is a capital example of fake it till you make it. And like he has no idea how to be president, but how did he become president? It's because people are so fucking stupid in the world. And so now what's going on is him and his crew are intentionally trying to make sure no one gets smart, no one has any brain power at all. Just shut the fuck up. Cancel schools, cancel the budget. Nope, nope, nope. Everyone's stupid. It's because we're dumb as rocks. So we need you dumb as rocks, so we can stay in charge of you.
Malicious way where and the thing that I hate is it's politics.
And the reason why kids are the future is because most parents have a job. You can't quit your job and go for something else. Most of the time, that doesn't happen. Like, I understand that in a perfect world or whatever, like, you have the opportunity to step up and that glass ceiling and whatever they call it, whatever, all that shit. I get it, but most people don't have that because you live paycheck to paycheck. So, living that job, you're like, well, I need some way to pay for my family, right? Because they start a family so fucking young. You have a family, you gotta start a family, and you need to take care of your family. So you don't have the option to step up to a better job. You don't have that option. So what happens is you let it go, or somebody else takes it, and somebody else didn't deserve it like you did. But the real people, like most people know, like when you're smart enough to be the president, you don't want to be a president because you know how much shit is involved, right? It's the same thing with some people that they're like, the reason why you don't want to be smart is because you know what's involved, and you're like, I just don't want to be part of it, right? I don't want to work. I don't want to. Right, and the reason why I do it is literally the opposite. I'm weird, right? I'm weird, but we'll get to me later some other time. Not in this video.
People's minds, because in any other circumstance you would immediately identify this intuitively as an evil action. That if I were to walk into Thanksgiving and say to my dad or say to my grandpa, like, hey, did you really look at child yesterday? And he's like, no. And you're like, okay, I was just checking.
Yeah. So you're like if someone did that to you, they walk in, they ask you, like, what the fuck was that?
Ben, don't be so loud, you're yelling.
Sorry. What the fuck was that? Okay. And so I got interrupted, apologies. Put myself back in truth. I was getting excited, I was hyperventilating. My sister is here. Normally she's at work, she's gone or whatever. And the boyfriend doesn't really care, but I'm passionate about this stuff, so forgive me. But anyways, we'll go back. This is why I love videos, and this is why I love writing, because I forget stuff, but when I'm responding, I can look back at it, but I'm forgetful.
That if I were to walk into Thanksgiving and say to my dad or say to my grandpa, like, hey, did you really look at child yesterday? And he's like, no. And you're like, okay, I was just checking.
But notice what happened in that situation. That person, and I think you started that example with, if you walked in and said it to your dad, right? Like me, for example, if I walked in and said it to my dad, I'd walk away, and next thing you know, I'd go to close his door, and it'd stop right before it closed, opened up, and I get a face full of fucking hand. Psh, what the fuck was that? Don't embarrass me in front of the company. That question was fucking stupid. It's accountability, basically. Again, remember what I was saying in school? Those kids that are like just kind of like lying and cheating and stealing just to get by, fake to make it. They're getting away with shit. There's no consequences. Like the saying is like the person that had to deal with the most consequential world, basically. Like that guy creates a good world, okay? And that good, honest world, which is what old America used to be, which is why all the MAGA people are like, oh, America is so great back then. It's because the world was different. We had different leaders. We had different rules, regulations, different ideas. There was different arms, different ideas. The culture was different. Society was different. Everything was different. But basically, what happens is it's like there's you can look this up on YouTube or on Google, by the way. It starts with just right. The most rough world ever, right? And you need like the most savage person in the world to break that open, and then that person now created a safe space. So now you get safe space people is basically the Trump's idea, And then you get into the world where we are now, where there's no consequences and no whatever, and all this horrible shit that's happening. And now you need them again. You need people to come in with the fucking and just shut up, you nerd. You know, like what kind of question is that? But I mean, what kind of question was that? You know what I'm saying? We're too first world. My dad is very third world, basically. And my mom was very first world. So I grew up with the best of both worlds. And I grew up very respectful. Like I had a chance to be with like countless girls that were virgins basically, and they'd never done anything before. And we used to hump and we used to play around, but never once did I penetrate them because I had it in the back of my mind. Don't take that away from them. They only have it once. Their virginity, basically, and their innocence, and their, you're gonna change them, basically. But there's guys in the world that is like, it's sex, who cares? It's just sex, who cares? And then there's girls that once they accept it, next they're porn stars. It's just sex. It's just sex. No, understand. There's a lot more meaning behind it. This is why the world's fucked up, is because all the stuff is gone, and all the things that matter don't. It's because accountability is gone. All the snakes are making it through the people that don't know the fuck they're talking about, are leading. So all of the shit's happening and there's no consequences to follow. And that's the problem, and that's what he hates about America. That's what he hates. You know what I'm saying? So you can technically end the video right now, but let's just keep going. Fuck it. Let's just keep going.
It's an absurd thing to say, and people play this game online all the time. Well, I'm just curious about, maybe Hitler wasn't as bad, or maybe blah blah blah. World War II is the most studied event of
But they wouldn't know because they don't study the study. They wouldn't know. They have no idea. I have no idea what the hell's there. There could be a secret door in your house that you grew up with, you never knew about because you never looked. And then next thing you know, a kid is like, a kid could get your house for like a week. And he's like, oh yeah, I found out that you have a secret hiding door in your house. Like, what? I didn't know that. Well, guess what he did? He looked. That's the study. That's why kids are the future. It's because they do that. That's why you can't teach an old dog new tricks. It's because you're already made in your world, your mind. It's whatever. You know what I'm saying? There's why certain drugs are okay and they're great because they rock your foundation and they change like who you are and what you think, and you will change the world. And this is why you have Snoop Dogg, who smokes so much fucking weed and he fucks some girls because he smokes out weed and keeps changing his mind. And like, I guarantee, if he were to actually go cold turkey and just be straight up and be who he needed to be, first off, he couldn't make it into this society. He could not make it today. But the best thing he can do is operate like a kid, and he can't have that. He needs the crew around him to manage. That's what he has. He just kind of hung out with the right people. It's not so much that Snoop Dogg was dope. Like, Dre was cool because he made the music. I don't care about his mind or what he thought. It's because he made the music. He happened to be the right place, right time. That's all he was. This is about this fool that makes like Britney Spears. Like, oh, who cares what the fuck she has to say? She just made some songs and whatever, and she got popular because of the music or whatever. It's the same thing with all of them, like worldwide. Like, I care more about, like, I would say Taylor Swift is a little different, but this election is a little different. You know what I'm saying? We're all holding on a little bit more. We're all a little more invested. We're all a little more knowledgeable. And I say that we all are, when in reality it's probably the left. And I have no idea what the hell's going on the right, because chances are they're under, just constantly, like, they're probably got World War II tactics over there for Russia and whatnot. And then dropping leaflets and propaganda and all kinds of crap to make them think certain things about the world that aren't true. And so they think that it's true, and that's why they feel the way that they do, when in reality it's not true. And if they actually looked into it, if they did anything that Destiny is talking about, right? If you did any kind of study at all, if you went anywhere and looked at anything anywhere, you'd be like, oh, I guess they don't eat animals. You know what I'm saying? And you would vote for fucking Kamala. So that's why I like Taylor Swift, because she's more paying attention to it. But guess what? She's probably the first famous person that capitalize on top of something ever, right? She's probably the first person to ever be involved politically, right? War pigs, right? They're paying attention, but they're a lot like me. They kind of kept underground. They're more hush hush about it, kind of chill. Like most smart people are gonna be more calm, kind of quiet about it, more chill. Like this is why I don't. I personally, and come by and talk to me about it if you want. I can tell you that there's two maths, right? Neil deGrasse Tyson's a dumbass. Takaku's a dumbass. Most scientists are idiots. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They need to stop reading the book, stop pretending, stop going down on La La Land, turn that shit back around, come back and refocus. Basically, they're getting too far out there to the point where it's disconnecting snap, and we just lost a huge chunk of um, smartness. Basically, like they really need to come back and really pound the 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 core, the fundamentals, and they really need to cover that basically. And that's what the world was once upon a time. People who are just really good about telling you the core, about the fundamentals, and the whole thing. Like I forgot his name. There's a scientist or a mathematician that like Summoner Miller, basically. Very weird, very strange person, but he is dope, basically. You have to just look him up. Sumner Miller, look at some of his classes. I guarantee you'll be interested. I fucking guarantee it. But, anyways, the point was don't trust. Just because you made a song and got popular, that doesn't mean you're smart. Most people hate Destiny, but that's because of media. They're filling your head with bullshit to make you feel a certain way. Oh, he gets fucked in the ass, or he watches his wife get fucked by the men. Who fucking cares? That's between them. Let them be what the fuck they want. Who cares? Who cares? It doesn't mean anything about us. Like me and my girlfriend is all fine. Who cares? What the fuck?
Of any war, maybe of any singular event that's ever occurred in all of human history. Pick up
And the reason why the right makes that a big deal and talks about it, by the way, is because they need you to focus and drop down your guard and stop looking at the rules, the politics, the ideas, and everything we run for. He's gay. You want the straight guy, right? Yeah, he's gay. So just ignore him. That's Trump's agenda. That's the right agenda. That's what being a man is. Shut the fuck up.
a fucking book. And not one that you find in the fucking restricted section of www.dailystorm or, you know.
Again, I grew up with the dad. If I walked in the house and I was like, "Hey Dad, did you watch child porn?" And I walk away, he'd follow me and beat my ass. That was my dad. I know what being a man is, so shut the fuck up.
You know, NaziParadise.com. Like, pick up an actual fucking book. You rely on these I made the same criticism.
And for the record, he's more of an animal than a man. So I'm just saying he had. There's parts of him that were very manly, but he was too much an animal. That's why he struck me. Whereas a real man would have got me to see how I was fucking up without the violence.
Norm Finkelstein, this guy calls himself a historian. He can't speak Arabic or Jewish or Hebrew. What are you studying?
And that's why he was great. I remember one time I was in my window smoking a cigarette, and I have a lock on my door so he can't get in. So I'm sitting there smoking a cigarette, and he opens the front door to the house, goes to the window, looks at me, sees me, and just goes back in. I'm like, and to me, I felt the ultimate dishonor. Like I fucked up big time. That's how I felt. My heart sank, my stomach, like everything, my butthole tightened up. I like that was it. Like he beat my ass emotionally, mentally beat my ass just by seeing me, and just he walked in the house and just went back to his room and went to bed. That was all he did. And I quit today. I quit that. I quit all because of you. Notice I did the fucking hell thing because they knew what the fuck they're talking about, right? I'll say it, they knew what they were talking about. The problem is they did it all wrong. They had a terrible leader. They had a terrible leader, just like America, the MAGA. They know what they're talking about. They want old America. They want the old tradition. Da, 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 da. They all want the right thing. MAGA, MAGA, MAGA. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. But you have terrible leaders. You have terrible people that are intelligent and teaching you the wrong thing. Like I guarantee, like if I was a leader, I can guarantee I would turn the word Nazi around, and then people are like, you know what, that's not bad, because not some Nazis were not bad. Some of them were just like they were just a soldier doing the work, but you need to understand that they grew up that way. A lot of them, like a lot of the females, are having kids and whatnot, and a lot of them just joining this war. Like that's all they knew, but just trust or get betrayed. That's the system. That's why China's the way it is. That's why Japan's the way it is, and North and South Korea and whatnot. The democracy is so great because, and that's why America is so great. It's because democracy, right? We don't have that. And a lot of people are so like I don't know so much to the point like gay, gay, gay. That's how you feel about the word Nazi. That's how you feel about the word niggers. You have all this hatred tied to a word, and you have no idea what the context is, and that's what that is. That's what's going on. It's people pretending to know. Oh yeah, I know. Don't ask me to ask to details and definitions. I know. Also, oh look at me. What's it called? My name, Pavlov. Yeah, Pavlov. Yeah, I totally know what he's doing. Yeah. Don't no. Sorry, don't ask me to explain myself because I know. I know, just let me go and get promoted to another job where they're going to assume that I know Pavlov and his work without asking. And they just assume that you are doing what you gotta do, but you have no fucking idea in reality. And then when it comes down to the wire, when it comes down to it, that's the whole reason why the three worlds exists. Is just nobody knows nothing, someone knows kind of, and no, you know the world, you know everything, then you kind of know stuff, and then you know nothing, and then it all breaks apart, falls apart, all the way down to you know nothing, and then nothing and something, or I keep saying nothing, everything, something, nothing, everything, something, nothing, everything, something, nothing. That's basically how it breaks down. Everything, something, nothing. Basically, like every leader in the world should be it should be mandatory that they should take a test every like 6 months at the very least, 3 months even, right? Just to prove that they know what the fuck they're talking about. And if they fail, get someone else that knows what the fuck is going on in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, why the hell does the president of the United States? Why is it that he took a test, but that was the same thing as someone who might have had like a stroke? It's a cognitive test. Why is that? Oh, congratulations, you passed the test. Here's the presidency. No, what the fuck? What are we doing? Come on, people. Like, I understand, like, it's America and rules and regulations, but people, we are the world. It's us. We make the rules. We hold people to everything. Just because it's not written in the rules, and that's why you guys want a what's it called, a dictator. Yeah. That's why you want a dictator. Someone to stop the badness. You stop the badness. Step the fuck up. Stop being a bitch and expecting the cops to save the world. Get involved. Simple, get involved. That's all you gotta do. Is how democracy works. You are involved. You're part of the system. You know. You can't sit back and just let it go by and then bitch and then want a democracy or a dictatorship to fix it. You're stuck in a perfect world. That's what MAGA is. That's what Nazis are. You know what I'm saying? That's why they made the comparison back in the day. There might be not be Jews here. I understand that, but the mind is still the same thing. Like exactly what you're doing is exactly what they were. You know.
at that point. You're just regurgitating other information. They'll have these historians. They don't speak any of the languages, so they haven't done any original research. They haven't gone through any of the archives. They always cite to other debunked or humiliated historians. Who am I thinking of? David Irving, right?
Irving.
Yeah, these people that have no reputation anywhere. I hate it. I hate it all.
Yeah. Do you agree with me that
Everything I said will make sense.
I've been saying this for a long time. The rise of the conspiracy theorists is a really, really serious problem in America right now. They have all the most popular podcasts. They hide behind what I hold dear, which is, free speech and free expression. But they're actually undermining support for free speech and free expression.
That guy, right now, is an idiot. He don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Destiny, way smarter than he is.
And because if the people who love free speech are going to, like, for instance, I was going to write something about this. For instance, the Tucker Carlson interview got like 40 million views, where Darryl Cooper says that
Come
Churchill
on.
was installed by Zionists for a reason.
What?
That Churchill was installed by Zionists for a reason.
Churchill, okay.
40 million views, plus however many online, maybe 100 million.
Okay.
And then I questioned him about it, and then he walked it back. And he says, well, no, actually, that maybe wasn't true. It was just conjecture, blah, blah, blah. So now, that gets...
That's what I'm telling you. It's get involved, be a part of the system. Stop letting these silver spoon kids that are pretending like they know but have no clue get by. Look at Tucker Carlson. He knows exactly what they want him to know. He's a capital example of exactly what George Carlin was talking about. Like, I am not what George Carlin was talking about. And I imagine there's quite a lot of people in the world that are like Tucker Carlson, but there's quite a lot of people in the world, possibly, that are more like me, basically. But anyways, yeah.
350,000 views. You're talking about, 200 to 1, 300 to 1 views. Similarly, we on the other side of the spectrum, you saw that there was this affidavit on Twitter that ABC News, a whistleblower, said that Kamala Harris had the questions, right? And Bill Ackman retweets it, and millions and millions of people. And it's not true. I'm sure it's not true.
Not only is it not true, how fucking stupid. Like, she knew ahead of time that we were going to be talking about immigration and the economy? Like, how the fuck could she have possibly known? It's such a cope. Oh, my God.
So, and...
Yeah. But do you understand? Do you understand that? Do you understand that? Like, Destiny is someone with daddy issues. This is why he likes Sneeko, right? It's because Sneeko seems like daddy, but again, fake it till you make it. Enter Sneeko, right? If I were to talk to Sneeko, I guarantee I would wipe the floor with him. He might be able to beat my ass. Congratulations, I had a fucking brain tumor and I lived through a stroke. Get on my level, bitch. But the point is, like, no, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And I would fuck him over, and I would rise above Destiny. But so understand what an alpha, the true meaning of an alpha. Most people think, the fastest runner. Oh, he got first place. He's an alpha. No, he just got first. That's all that means. He just got first. The alpha doesn't make me the fastest runner. The alpha is me pointing out that he's the fastest. Oh, you want to talk to the fastest swimmer? Talk to that guy. Oh, you need to do math? Talk to Jim. Jim knows, right? And then I put them all together and we're all hanging out. That makes me the alpha. In school, I was part of everybody's crew. I was the alpha. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that. Because society is so fucked up and backwards, how it makes you think, oh, you have to be the number one runner to be the alpha. No, you don't. You have to have the highest DPS in League of Legends to be the alpha. No, you don't. Like, I'm the alpha of every single group I've ever played with. The problem is, people want to play alpha, and they want to be like, oh, look at my DPS. Oh, I'm the shit. And like, congratulations, I don't give a fuck. I played half tank. If you look at my items, I didn't get 6 items for DPS. I got 3 DPS items and 3 tank items. The reason why is because of what I did. I'm the alpha. That's what an alpha is, right? Alpha is not the front, but it's definitely not the back, right? That's all that. That's all that is. Just want to clarify that.
This, so it's like the best defense is a good offense.
Always. That's all they do.
Yeah.
Accusations after accusation.
And when the disparity between the offense that gets out there,
The reason why they do this, by the way,
God.
so and this, so it's like the best defense is a good offense.
Always. That's all they do.
Yeah.
Accusations after accusation.
And when the
see how quick he answers and how the other guy's like, because he's kind of me, but he's not as like my level, basically. And he answers because that's what he's good at. He gets, like, you put a book in front of him, and you give it to him, and he reads it. He'll give you all the details, right? But he won't be able to reach outside the book. He might be able to a little bit, but that not as much as I might. Oh my God! I figured out the cure for cancer. And it's like that's what the outside goal was. The book has nothing to do with cancer, but it works the same way, right? And so some people might be like, "Oh, what the fuck are you talking about? You don't understand." Anyways. So the whole attack, so you don't have to defend. Basically, what they're talking about, the reason why you do that, by the way, is because it makes it so that you don't have to prove yourself. Basically, you keep on attacking and making them prove themselves. Proof. And eventually, like, the whole goal is to point it on them. This is why the whole Republican side, why they always deflect, is because fake it till you make it. That's who they are. They know that once you get past that armor, the outside armor, that look, they're hollow and they got nothing inside. That's it. Whereas an American, like a bullet's like, and just sits there and gets stuck. Right? Them it's like, ting, 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 ting. Right? That's the difference. Because they don't know nothing. So what they do is they always, oh yeah, well, you, that one time, remember when you, Biden did this, oh yeah, well, Kamala did this. It's because if you go and point them out, then they got nothing. They're hollow, they're empty. They're guilty. They suck.
disparity between the
And again, you can take this presidency to the presidential level, basically, like all the way from kids to the presidency, all of it.
offense that gets out there, millions and millions and millions of people hear this stuff and they can't unhear it. And the slight number of people who ever hear that it wasn't true, and that the people who are doing this are the people who are supposedly fighting for free speech, but they're not going to be responsible about it and care about the integrity of the speech that's going out there. Then the people who really don't care about free speech to begin with, they're not going to even worry about it. They're going to move because they're going to correctly say, this is damaging. You know, and they're going to be wrong, and the cure is going to be worse than the disease. But we're going to learn the hard way, and maybe in an irrevocable way, when the country actually does turn away. So I see a dynamic here where
What was your point? Wait, what was your point?
Because they're going to correctly say, this is damaging. They're going to care about integrity, but they're not going to do. Millions and millions and millions of people hear this stuff and they can't unhear it. And
Oh my God.
so it's like the best defense is a good offense.
Always. That's all they do.
Yeah.
Accusations after accusation.
And when the disparity between the offense that gets out there, millions and millions and millions of people hear this stuff and they can't unhear it. And the slight number of people who ever hear that it wasn't true, and that the people who are doing this are the people who are supposedly
Doing
fighting
what?
for free speech, but they're not going to be responsible about it and care about the integrity of the speech that's going.
It's not that they can, or it's not that they won't. It's they can't.
Going out there. then the people who really don't care about free speech to begin with, they're not going to even worry about it. They're going to move because they're going to correctly say, this is damaging.
I don't know what he's talking about.
You know, and they're going to be wrong, and the cure is going to be worse than the disease. But we're going to learn the hard way, and maybe in an irrevocable way, when the country actually does turn away. So I see a dynamic here where
I don't know what he's talking about.
this is just moving in a very, very bad direction, where people are like, well, I don't want to say all the names, but all the
So he is like me, in a sense. The problem is he's failing to connect it, and it could be because he is on a chat show, but he shouldn't be theory crafting when he's talking to Steven. He should rely on facts. Like, this isn't a theory crafting moment. And right now he's theory crafting to the point where I'm like, what the fuck? I don't get it. You make no sense. It makes sense in his mind. And there might be some way to get there, but we don't see it.
these huge podcasters that just give an
I don't
open
see it.
form, and they never have. We saw this during COVID. Like towards the end of COVID, Tucker
That's what being smart is, by the way.
Carlson would, I said this last week, would roll out some guy looked like Captain Pike from Star Trek, like some quad, and say the vaccine, you know, and people see this and they don't want to, and people die because of this stuff, and reasonable people say we need someone to control misinformation. And I'm like, no, you can't do that because you have to have free speech. But they're not wrong about saying this is extremely damaging to the country, and it's getting worse and worse.
See, now he's saying something that makes more sense. And yeah, you need the right to be able to say that 2 plus 2 is 5. But that person who said that also needs the education to know not only that 2 plus 2 is 4, but he also needs the education to know, and for him to know without anybody else's input, that saying 2 plus 2 is 5 is detrimental to everybody else. That's why, but you need free speech so that you can talk and have it out and just point, kind of like my point in this video. Imagine if I wasn't allowed to say how I felt or how things were right or wrong or whatever. Imagine if Trump won and this show is illegal. Like, you don't want this kind of stuff. You need to be able to say that Trump's bad, right? There's a reason why he only goes to playpens. There's a reason why he only goes to playpens and avoids the place where like real combat, real competition happens, right? But we can't do that, okay? Dude, they can't take away your free speech because you're safe, but guess what? Now I can't defend you anymore either. Like, now you gotta understand, like, it's a double-edged sword. This is why free speech exists. Like, our forefathers were very fucking smart. I would love to spend a weekend with those dudes and just chill on the table and just, I never fucking thought of that. I want that kind of thought process with them, or if I would lead them, I don't know.
And I feel like,
But I would stand my ground, though. That's all I'm
repeating
saying.
myself, but I really feel like the people who value free speech, like Fire and maybe the ACLU still, and people like me, we need to do more about reining in people who are spreading this nonsense. If we care
The reason why Destiny is so quiet right now is because he's probably like, what the fuck are you talking about? The same as me.
about our own cause, otherwise we're going to lose the cause for free speech.
Like, he might say something now, but that's because he's actually saying this dude right here is actually saying something that I can understand now, but before, it's like, what the fuck?
Fire and maybe the ACLU still, and people like me, we need to do more about reining in the people who are spreading this nonsense if we care about our own cause. Otherwise, we're going to lose the cause
Yeah.
of free speech.
Yeah.
Well, what about
Because modern technology is overwhelming the ability for
That's what I just said. You have to be part of the system. Because if you're not, you lose your voice. The problem is you lost your voice. That means he lost his voice, and he was the reason why this guy wasn't attacking you. Now he lost his voice. Now here comes this guy. So like, you're not really you're safe, but you're safe from this, not from that. You know what I'm saying? That's why you use free speech.
for people to get a sense of what's true anymore.
but don't you think to a large extent, people that want the truth will seek it out, and people that are happy to accept that Churchill was a villain, that the gas chambers didn't exist.
No, some people are locked in their life and have no choice but to listen. That's why you need a good leader. Okay? This is why the free speech is so important. Because you need to, like, this guy is wrong. He's a MAGA person. Not really, but the point is, like, it's just, no, bad. Just, shh. Right? Don't talk anymore. Because there's some people that just don't know.
They're already kind of won over,
And I can say the only reason why I'm able to exist, I would argue, is because I have the free time, basically. I would say that I'm fairly lucky to have a brain tumor and have been through a stroke and have my sister and her husband that take care of me, basically. Like, don't get me wrong, they do make money off of me. And I'm lucky to be part of the American, you know what I'm saying? America, basically. And that's why I'm using my voice to help protect America, because without what we have, I would die. And if I'm dead, I wouldn't be able to make this a video. And I wouldn't be able to transfer all the information from me to you guys. If whoever's watching this video and listening to this video, right, you wouldn't have any of it. And this is why our president, once upon a time, they hid the fact, and rightfully so, because chances are they made it look too good. You had to be too perfect. You had to be a pristine, like, you had to be a perfect man in order to be president, right? And that was the deal for a long time. And I forget who his name was, but he was in a wheelchair and he faked it. And he hid the fact that he was stuck in a wheelchair. You know what I'm saying? And yet he was able to lead the nation through, even if it was through just whatever, he was able to lead the nation. And I understand, even if life is good, there's so much drama in the world where, like, if he let the guard down for a second, bam, some other country jump on him.
And you know, there are community notes. There are ample opportunity for people to do a little additional research and say, well, that's one point of view, but, you know, I'm going to do a little bit of research to just verify this. I think a lot of people are already won over to that cause, but the people that want more information, there are ways to get it.
Yeah, wait. I have an answer to that, but you say.
Answer, go ahead.
No, you go first.
These topics get me so angry. How do you guys feel about guns?
Guns?
Yeah.
I'm agnostic. I mean,
I don't like guns.
Okay. Fucking
But
New Yorker.
but what's that?
Fucking New Yorker. Okay.
Yeah, but I respect that there is a culture of wholesome people who have them as an everyday part of their lives. And
It's not about wholesome. It's not about wholesome.
I don't like to see a gun on the street in New York City. Yeah.
Okay, I used to do the driving comparison where I would say driving is a privilege, okay, and you have to be careful how you drive or else nobody else is going to want to be on the road with you, but then people will very quickly point out, well, driving isn't a constitutionally guaranteed right, okay, so we're ignoring the whole philosophy, we just want to go right to the fact that it's constitutional. Okay, we have a Second Amendment right in this country to own firearms. No one ever interprets that to mean that you can wield a firearm however you want. There are 4 important rules when dealing with firearms. You treat every firearm like it's loaded. Don't put your finger on the trigger until you're ready to shoot. Don't point it at something that you don't want to destroy. The 4th one people don't say all the time, but be aware of what's beyond your target. So don't, like, target practice inside your house into drywall because you might kill a neighbor, right? If you ever go to a range and you see somebody improperly handling a firearm, you will never hear a drill guy on the range. You'll never hear a range master say something like, it's okay, we've got more guns out here, so we're safe. He takes the guy and he throws him the fuck out of the range. You're not allowed here anymore. If you can't play right with your firearm, then you get the fuck out because nobody wants to be around you because it's going to be a horrible environment. And we know that when it comes to firearms, and any responsible firearm owner knows that when it comes to
Okay, so first and foremost,
it's going to be a horrible environment. Play right with your firearm, then you get the fuck out because
you can't have that. You can't have that because sometimes it's the first, like, this is why when I talk to somebody or whatever, anytime there's anytime there's an event where I talk to somebody or something, I always give them one time, maybe, oops, I was asleep, I wasn't paying attention, I'm sorry, what were you saying? They get one free. What I was saying was, if they continue to show me that they have no interest or don't know, that's it. That's when it's okay, get the fuck out. Right? So, in this gun example, if the person is like, he has his finger on the trigger and he's talking, and you see that, take your finger off the trigger, dude. What? Take your finger off the trigger. Oh, my bad. And you tell them, unless you're like you're getting ready to fire, that's the only time you should put your finger on the trigger. Otherwise, always have it off. Okay, okay, okay. Next time, if it happens again, get out. Give me a gun. What? Give me your gun. Get out. There's get the fuck out of here. You know, it's because that's the problem. The problem, and that's the problem in America. Our leader's like, he has a gun and he has his hands on the trigger. He's like, yeah, woo, yeah, yeah, da, da, da. And he don't give a fuck. And no one, everyone's just sitting there like, and that's why America sucks.
Because nobody wants to be around you because it's going to be a horrible environment. And we know that when it comes to firearms. And any
She's talking about Nazis, by the way.
responsible firearm owner knows that when it comes to firearms. For some reason, we have this stupid, this very naive thought about speech that freedom of speech is good and that if we just have more of it, the truth will always rise to the top.
Nope.
And it rests on this fundamental assumption that humans are truth-seeking creatures, but we're not.
Nope.
We just find things that make us feel good. And generally, that works out in most cases because our senses deliver us things. If a piece of food tastes rotten, we don't eat it. If it tastes good, then it's good. But what about in an environment where there's a bunch of food that tastes good, and now we're not restricted to like hunting anymore, like sugar? Well, now we're all fat, right? That's an example of like our senses.
Or you eat it and it tastes good and it kills you.
Is kind of like betraying us. And the idea that we can look at the internet, and now we all know this, right? Growing up on the, man, I remember even as a kid, right? Teachers would say things like, you're not going to have a calculator in your pocket all the time. Well, I've actually got a supercomputer in my pocket, so fuck you. And I remember growing up thinking like, man, we don't have to run to either the library or the bookshelf to grab an encyclopedia to look up answers. Everybody in the future is going to know everything because we got all this information at our fingertips. And instead,
That's the thing. People don't know anything. Like when it comes to math, like you may have a calculator in your pocket, but it helps to know the fundamentals of math. Not only because it's beneficial for you just to have it, but it also keeps people from lying to you or cheating or exploiting you. And so numbers aren't just numbers. That number doesn't add up. Hold on, how'd you get 50 out of that? You know, so you have those questions, and the better you are at math, the better you are at that understanding that connection's thicker. Basically, the more you know about it, the thicker it gets, and that's your vein. Basically, it's like your dick. The more that you fuck, the bigger your dick, right? And that's kind of the thing. The more you like are activating your dick, the more you're concentrating on your dick, the bigger your dick's going to get. Basically, especially as if you're young and growing old, well, everything is. Anyways,
you have 80% of the Republican Party thinks the last election was rigged, or you've got people that think that vaccines are going to cause your head to explode, like that Candace retweet that I just saw today. People have to come to grips with the idea that we are not truth-seeking machines.
is that true? Candace Owens said if you get a vaccine, your head will explode. I don't know if that's true. The reason why is because then that would mean that people are that like, you're fucking stupid. Like damn, like goddamn, that's stupid.
We seek things that make us feel good, and to want to find things that are true, it requires you to like move your mind in a way that you're seeking that because it's not a natural process. And people, they dress so much bullshit up in these aesthetics of truth, right? I've noticed this, I don't know if you guys have, but anytime you go online, any channel with anything resembling the word truth in it is always the most far-right bullshit propaganda channel in the world. Project Veritas, or, you know, like The Truth Show, or whatever all of these things, rationality.
Shows like that have a motive behind them. So if it's like the news channel, then you know that they're about news, And it may or may not be honest news. It may or may not be truthful. It may or may not be this. It may or may not be that. But they're fucking with the news. And if it says like if it's random like ninja on a ninja, that has nothing to do with anything. This is whatever. Like then chances are it's whatever. Now me saying that makes it to where you need to be paying attention because that person might try to fuck with you. So yeah, that's how it works. Though is you don't. It's like the cat in the box, and you don't know if it's dead. I forget what that was, but basically, um, you don't know something until you know something, and once you know that something, you have to be aware of it. Basically, you have to be ready for it, and until you are ready for it, you like until it existed, it wasn't part of the situation to you. Like it didn't matter, it didn't exist, and now it exists. Now you know it. It may have existed the whole time, but you were just never aware of it. So thank you, kind of. I don't know.
All of them with these words in it are always the biggest pieces of like propaganda.
Truth
disinformation,
social.
bro. Truth social. True. Yeah. Yeah. It's always the
Propaganda.
worst stuff, and people need to realize that
And
that's
it's called Truth Social. Again, there's a motive.
not normal, and because people are just so
Everything on the right, Truth Social, America First, American News, like America #1. Like come
Although
on.
Project
Messing up
Veritas
stuff.
has had a few.
I don't think they have.
None.
I think every single major investigation that they've done, from Acorn to the abortion people to the almost all of them, I think every single major one, when it was independently verified, was turned out to be.
Okay.
We
Yep.
can do another episode on that, but
I'll take your word for it. I didn't think that, but go ahead, finish your thought. I mean, well, let me actually.
Yeah.
Let me- There is an obvious to me difference between the gun and the speech example. Is that
Gun and speech examples. So once there's a difference. Let me think about that real quick. Gun and speech. There's a difference between gun and speech. I don't really see a difference. Like a gun is more permanent. That's the only difference between anything, really. They both can be damaging, they both can save your life. They both can be good, they both can. I don't know. I don't see a good difference other than permanence. But, anyways, that's the end of the video. So, if you've made it the whole thing, congratulations. And not only thank you for watching, but thank you for being a good person and trying to understand things outside the box. And if you skipped, you're an asshole. You should go back to the beginning, start over, and watch the whole thing, and literally try to understand. Because I think that this actually would explain America in a nutshell. And again, it's just like in school. Like the whole point is the problem is accountability. Of the gun, like I showed you the guns. Like imagine Trump with the guns right on his fingers, and no one threw him out. Right, he made it through it, and now he's #1, the best job in the world. He's like, yeah, woo, and he's holding the guns. But me, I got thrown out. Like that's not fair. Why the hell did he make it? No accountability, and that's what makes America suck. So, anyways, that's it. Thank you for watching. Again, be well, be happy, be safe, be strong, and be loved. And take care of one another, and do your best to educate. Because like one of my favorite things to do, like right now, like flat out, it doesn't matter. It sucks, but I don't like. I don't know. Basically, I'll be on YouTube, and if like I see a girl and she does gymnastics, #1 rule, just I follow her. And I end it there. And I never look at my follows. I always watch just what's in the trending or whatever. My follows don't matter. I don't, to whatever. But basically, I do that. I respond to everybody I can. I respond to them. I try to educate one another. Try to be smart. Just be aware. Just know that everything happens. Everything has a reason, and it's your job basically to understand what that reason was, pick it apart, and understand it, and then know if it's right or wrong, or if it's truthful, or if it isn't truthful, or if it's honest, or if they just want ass. Like for example, oh god, the whole thing about relationships, and it's anyway. That's another video. So thank you for watching. Take care. Peace.